Hello, are you prepared to close this year with purpose? Are you prepared to start next year with direction, with identity, with clear decision making? Most people are not. Let me tell you why. Most people look at December 31st as a time to just check out. They close their year on autopilot. They just grateful that they got through the previous year and that they, are unharmed. And so they just coast. They relax. They lay back and want to celebrate. And that's fine to celebrate because I know most of you are preparing for your New Year's Eve celebration. Maybe you're cleaning the house or you're grocery shopping for the party you're about to have or trying to figure out which outfit you're wearing to the black party this year on New Year's Eve. Maybe you're getting ready for church. Whatever you're doing, I want you to know that it's not sufficient to close the year in the right way. It's not what you need to be doing. It's not where you need to be focusing your time. Instead, what you need to be doing is mentally, emotionally preparing for the next year. Because great leaders, the leaders who follow the mission that they have in life, they don't just coast off into the sunset at the end of the year. They don't look at the end of the year as just a hump to get over. They look at it as a pivot point. They look at it as an opportunity for them to move themselves to the next level. And so my question for you, are you prepared to move yourself to the next level? And so I want to give you 5 questions that you need to be thinking about, that you need to put yourself in a position to answer right now if you want to close the year with intention and to move yourself into the next level. So I want you to understand that these questions are really, really important. So I want to give you these 5 questions that I am using to close my year. I want you to use these same questions to close your year. I want you to answer them with some level of intention, with conviction. So you might want to write them down. This video will stay posted. You don't have to worry about going away. You can come back and watch it later. But the main point is that I want you to answer these 5 questions with intention. I want you to be clear about your intentions. And guess what? The smart executives, the wise leaders, the people who want to have the biggest impact, who are really mission driven as they think about everything they do, they answer these questions before midnight. And I'm going to give them to you and I will talk you through them. The reason why I'm going to talk you through them, because it's all a part of what I'm helping people to get prepared for in the next year. Now, when I say get prepared for, I want to show you something. This is a document that I created. And when I say created, I developed it. It's a PDF. It's called the Year-End Blueprint for Mission-Driven Executives. It is only for people who are mission-driven in their work, they're mission-driven in their purpose, they're mission-driven in what they want to do. These questions that I'm getting ready to give to you are in this document. If you would like a copy of this document, you have until 2 p.m. East Coast time to send me a direct message. That's the only way you're going to get it, is if you send me a direct message and you will get this document. Now, I recognize that I'm broadcasting on multiple platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And for those of you on YouTube, you don't know how to send me a DM. So I'm going to ask you in the comments to say, give me the blueprint. Just type the words, give me the blueprint. If you want the blueprint, you can get the blueprint. But it's a year-end blueprint for you to design your year with intention in order to be able to have the impact that you want to have. It's all about designing your year with intention so you can have the impact that you want to have. And so today, I'm going to unpack part of this blueprint. There's a lot of stuff in this blueprint. I've been talking about it for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Some of you know about it, some of you don't know about it, but I'm giving you an opportunity to get it. So if you want the year-end blueprint for mission-driven executives, you can send me a direct message up until 2 p.m. East Coast time today. But after that point, I'm not responding because I'm making sure that I close my year with intention so I can start the next year with more impact. Close with intention, start with impact. Hope you're paying attention to that. Okay, so let's jump right into the 5 questions. The 5 questions that you need to answer, that you must answer before midnight if you want to close your year with purpose. Okay, 5 questions. To give them to you right now. So question number 1 that every executive needs to answer. And this is the question, verbatim. I'm giving it to you right now. What will I make non-negotiable next year? Question, I'm going to repeat it. What will I make non-negotiable for next year? What am I saying to you? And why am I asking that question around what's non-negotiable? Like, you should have at least 3 things that are going to be non-negotiable for how you're going to show up next year. So one example of a non-negotiable is, how are you going to spend your time? Who are you going to spend your time with? It is non-negotiable that I'm going to spend my time reading in 2026. That's just an example. I read a lot of books. I've always read a lot of books. I listen to a lot more books. And I try to get a whole lot of books in the calendar year. But this past year, I was so busy with work and so focused on work, I didn't read as many books as I set out to do. So what's going to be non-negotiable is what I call my book a month club. It ain't really a club for y'all, but I'm going to read a book a month. It's non-negotiable. You know what else is going to be non-negotiable? My workout schedule, that I got to get back on the horse and continue to maintain my health. If I'm going to be here, if I'm going to be impactful, if I'm going to have all my faculties, my strength to be able to do what I do on stages, in organizations, flying all the time, then I got to make sure that my workout routine, my exercise routine is non-negotiable. So my question for you is, what will you make non-negotiable in 2026? What will I make non-negotiable? I want you to come up with 3 things that you're going to make non-negotiable. I'm going to give you one of mine. I gave you a couple, but I'm going to give you one that is really important. I'm going to be non-negotiable about doing this live session, this leadership live session. I'm going to make it non-negotiable that I do it every Wednesday at 9 a.m. East Coast time. It's non-negotiable. I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to add value and prepare you for what's to come for you as a leader. Because there's so much coming at you, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get deeper. It's going to get bigger, harder, more challenging. There's so much uncertainty in the environment that I want to add value to the mission-driven leaders who I believe will have a disproportionate impact. More importantly, I want you to show up differently. I want you to actually show up, not hide yourself, not preserve yourself, not play small, not be, ducking and dodging, but I want you to show up and lead with intention and impact. So to do that, I got to show up. And that means every Wednesday, 9 a.m. East Coast time, on one platform, I'm going to show up. Okay, let's get to the second question. This is a really important question, this second question, and I want you to write down and think about this with intention. Write this question now and think about the answers with intention, and write those answers with conviction. Question number 2 is, where did I gain momentum and where did I let it slip? 2 questions in one. Where did I gain momentum and where did I let it slip? This question is really taking stock of Where is the momentum in your professional life? Where is the momentum in your personal life? Where is the momentum on the upswing? Where are things going really, really well? Document those things. And then also, where did you let momentum slip? Where did you lose momentum? All right, let me have a moment of transparency with you and tell you where I gained momentum and where did I let it slip. I gained significant momentum in two particular aspects of my business. It's really three, but I might give you all three. So the first place where I gained momentum is in the keynote speaking game. As you know, a big part of my business model is that I speak on stages for fees. And I don't just talk to be talking. I teach leaders how to build diverse, high-performing teams in a world-class culture, how to do that with intention and purpose so that they don't compromise their integrity. And I got frameworks that I teach from stage. I got content that I teach from stage. I add value to so many people. I gained momentum in that part of my business. I did bigger events. I did more events with bureau partners in 2026 than I ever have done before. So there's speakers bureaus out there like Washington Speakers Bureau, Kepler Speakers, PK Speakers. These are the people I did more events with in 2025 than I'd ever done in any previous year. So I got momentum there, significant momentum. The second place that I have momentum is in my executive retreat business. So I work with leaders in their executive team, sometimes their boards, for help them through the strategy of what they want to do over the next decade. This is really more like a 2 or 3 day conversation, more so than a presentation at all. It's actually not even in a presentation. I'm not doing any of the talking. They're doing all of the talking. And I'm just designing the day for their leadership team to build around a collective energy of where they want to go. And I gained momentum in my executive retreat business in 2025. Significant momentum. Those are two things that I gained momentum in. The third thing I would say is gaining momentum is that in 2025, I've served as an executive coach for 3 high-level executives. Now, I didn't intend to be an executive coach. I never sought out to be an executive coach. As a matter of fact, I didn't really want to do it because, it can be overwhelming sometimes to be a coach to 15 different executives. And those people who do it, I respect them. God bless them. They have the ability to scale that. But I can only go deep with 3 people. For my time, my schedule, my mental and emotional energy, and the value add as a one-on-one coach, I can only go deep with 3 people. And I had 3 clients this year. One of them renewed for a 3rd time just last month. And so I gained momentum in those 3 parts of my business. That's where I gained it, really gained momentum. Now, where did I let momentum slip? Well, I'm going to be honest and transparent. I've been a consultant to a lot of organizations in the previous years, and I was a consultant this year. But the momentum in that business is sliding. And what do I mean sliding? I had a contract get cut. I got a second contract that's being eliminated. I had a contract being eliminated, and the second one started to get cut. A third one is about to be eliminated as well. So I'm letting that slip. It's not, fun when you don't plan it that way, but I do believe that it's making room for some other things. That is where momentum slipped in my business. So my question for you, my second question for you is, where did you gain momentum and where are you letting it slip? I want you to think about it, write it down. If you're brave enough, put it in the comments. Where did you gain momentum this year? And where are you letting it slip? That's a question for you. I don't know if you're prepared to answer that, but if you want to end the year with purpose and intention, you got to answer that second question. Where did I gain momentum and where did I let it slip? Be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. I'm not lying to myself. If I had to tell you one other place I gain momentum, is that I gain momentum in terms of revenue. Like literally, I had one of my best years ever in business, in 11 years in business, not the biggest and best year, but I gained momentum on the upswing from a revenue standpoint. So what about you? Where did you gain momentum? Okay. Third question. It's a really important question. And Aaron, I see you. Is it slipping or letting go? Well, that's a great question. It really is a great question because I actually want some things to go away, but I wanted them to go away on my terms. You know how you want to break up with somebody? You want to break up when you want to break up, not when they want to break up. And that literally is what happened with one of my clients, is that they broke up with me before I could break up with them. I wanted to break up in June, but they broke up in December and said, it's overcome January. So, that's the context, is that you really want to do things on your own turn when you can plan it out. And so I really let the momentum slip in that space, significantly slip in that space. There's a few other things I let it slip on. My health. Like I wanted to work out on time, regularly 4 or 5 days a week. I wanted to go to the gym twice a week and do personal training. But I had so much momentum in the keynote business, in the retreat business, and all of those other things that was doing that was keeping me on the road. I let my workout activities, my schedule, my willingness to get up and walk and go to the gym 2 days a week, I let that slip. I'm honest about that. Did it cost me? Yeah, I'm up about 10 pounds right now. Got on the scale yesterday morning. I was up 10 pounds. Now, some of that you could say is the holidays, because I've been eating good and having a great time, really enjoying my holidays. But to be honest with you, I had 5+ pounds of extra weight gain almost the whole year. So that's an honest answer to the question, where did I gain real momentum and where did I let it slip? Okay, let me get to this third question. So the third question that you need to answer before midnight. Again, all of these questions are questions you need to answer before midnight. This is an important question. What is my one 90-day focus for the start of next year? I'm going to repeat that. What is my one 90-day focus for the start of the next year? Now, the reason why I say one focus for 90 days is that it's easy for us to set these goals at the end of the year, and we set 5 goals or 10 goals. We put all of these things, and then we overwhelm ourselves, and then we look up, it's March 31st, the first quarter of the year is gone, and we're trying to do too many things, so we did not complete one thing, or we did not knock out one thing. So my question is, what is your one 90-day focus for the start of the year? Try to focus on one thing or one area of your life, one area of work, one area of business, one area of something. Is how do you get focused for 90 days? So let me be clear and transparent with you. My business has shifted in a good way. And so my first 90-day focus is really going to be on making phone calls, sending text messages and emails to past clients, current clients, and prospective clients about me coming to their organization to speak. See, I have to get momentum in actually making sales calls. Because if I said in number 2 that I gain momentum in my keynote business, I don't want that to slip. So I got to keep the momentum going in my keynote business. And the only way I'm going to do that is to ask people, who's doing your sales kickoff meeting this year? Who's doing your first quarter leadership retreat? Who is helping you to navigate the uncertainty that's coming in this 2026 year? What can I do to serve you, to help you? I want to help you to win the year in 2026. So my focus is outreach, phone calls, sales calls, whatever you want to call it, asking people, how can I serve you this year? I really want to help you. I really want to serve you. I believe that I can add value to you and your team and your organization. I want to serve you. I got something that I believe that you need. I understand the problems that you have, and I want to provide a solution. So for 90 days, my focus is blowing up that phone. That's my focus. Because again, I got momentum in 25. I want to keep the momentum in 2026. My focus is outreach, sales calls. What is your focus? What are you going to be intentional about focusing on for the first 90 days of the year? If you ain't focused on it, it ain't going to happen. All right. That's the third question. Again, you got to answer these questions before midnight tonight. Don't let tomorrow come and you try to answer these questions because you're probably going to be hungover or full or wanting to just watch sports and football all day, whatever it is. I get it. That's why you want to get them done before midnight, preferably before the afternoon today. Third question is, what is your 90-day focus, your 190-day focus for the start of the year? Okay, here's question number 4. I really like this question. I really, really like this question. Question number 4 is, who needs to know that I'm showing up differently, and how will I tell them? I'm going to repeat that. Who needs to know that I am showing up differently, and how will I tell them? See, if you want to design a year with intention or year with impact by being intentional this year, you need to know how you're going to show up differently. And you need to know who you need to tell that you're showing up differently. And you need to decide how you're going to tell them. So does your family need to know that you're showing up differently? Does your team need to know you're showing up differently? Do your clients, customers, vendors need to know that you're showing up differently? And if they do, how are you going to tell them? Well, let me be transparent with you. I'm always being transparent. I said that like 3 or 4 times. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sharing with all of you that I'm showing up differently in 2026. What do I mean differently? Currently, right now, I'm streaming on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. Now, I told you what my non-negotiable was, and number 1. The first question is, what will I make non-negotiable in 2026? And that's recording this live video every Wednesday, 9 a.m., and sharing it with the world. That's what I'm going to do. But what am I going to do differently? This will be the last time that I go live on Facebook at Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. I'm showing up differently, and I'm only focusing on LinkedIn. So if you're not connected to me on LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn, you won't get this value. I'm sorry. You just won't. Now, I will stay on YouTube because YouTube is a search engine. It's not really my preferred platform. And I think I got one viral video on YouTube that has like 32,000 views, like 5 signs you're in a toxic workplace culture. But in general, a lot of people don't follow me on YouTube because it's not my preferred platform. But I'm staying there because it's a video content channel, and I'm putting the content there. But I'm focused on sharing this information with executive leaders who are on LinkedIn. So you should connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, that ain't my problem. I'm sorry. Why am I making a decision? Because diluted focus leads to diluted results. That's a direct quote from my guy, Rory Vaden. Diluted focus leads to diluted results. I'm tired of diluted focus, of trying to reach people on multiple platforms and not getting deep with anybody. So I'm telling y'all right now that I'm showing up differently. So I'm saying this to everybody who watches me or consume my content. I'm going to post on Facebook. It's my personal page. But in terms of this content around being a better leader, having a bigger impact, making a bigger difference, showing up differently in the world, I'm only going to focus on LinkedIn. That's what I'm doing. So I'm telling y'all that I'm showing up differently. But I've also told my team that I'm showing up differently, that I'm changing our meeting schedule. We used to have a weekly staff meeting, what we call an L10 meeting, 4 times in a month. 4 times in a month. Tuesday at 10 a.m. is when my team meets. But I told my team I'm showing up differently. We only doing 2 meetings, team meetings in a month. The first Tuesday and the third Tuesday. We're not having that no more. So I'm changing my meeting cadence. How are you showing up differently? And who do you need to tell that you're showing up differently? And how do you plan to tell them? I'm delivering the same high value for my clients. I show up big for my clients. I literally show up the most equipped, prepared possible to deliver maximum impact from the stage or in front of that boardroom or that conference room. I show up there the same way. I'm not changing none of that, but I'm changing a little bit how I market. I'm also changing a little bit what I talk about. I want to focus more on power and the power that people want to make impact in their workplace, but they don't have it. They don't know how to get it. So I'm changing a few things up. And I'm telling them publicly, sending emails, sending calls, text message. And I just told all of you on this session how I'm showing up differently. Okay, that's the 4th question. Here's the 5th question. And I'm going to go back because I know some of y'all got on a little bit late. You missed the first couple questions. I'm going to give them all 5 in a row so you can write them down or clip this part of the segment of the video and get all 5. But let me give you number 5. Question number 5 is, what am I leaving behind in 2025? And what am I carrying forward in 2026? What am I leaving behind in 2025? And what am I carrying forward in 2026? Here are my answers to that question. You know what I'm leaving behind in 2025? I'm leaving behind my fear and frustration that I didn't achieve all of my goals. See, I'm one of these guys that sets big goals, and most times I set too many goals. So like in 2025, I set 9 big goals that I wanted to accomplish. You know how many of them I actually accomplished? I only accomplished 2 of them. 2 of the 9. And I've been beating myself up all December because I didn't get the other 7. But you know what I'm leaving behind? Is beating myself up. You know why? Because when I looked at those goals again, most of them were process goals. They weren't outcome driven. And the 2 that I achieved were outcome driven goals. And so I got the outcome that I wanted, but I had a bunch of process goals. So here's the question is, why did I set 9 goals that were process goals? Most of them were process goals. That's why I didn't achieve them, because they weren't good, solid, objective, measurable goals. I failed on that. And I want to beat myself up, but I ain't beating myself up no more. I'm done with that. I'm leaving that behind in 2025. You know what else I'm leaving behind? I'm leaving behind people who don't want to be committed to something bigger than themselves. Like, I serve a lot of people. I help a lot of people. And I have some people, y'all, that I advise or coach or really give advice. And I keep telling them the same thing over and over and over again. And they always call with the same question again, but then they don't take the advice. So you know what I'm doing? I'm actually wasting my breath and my energy, because I'm giving you the game, sometimes high level game, $1 million worth of game that you get because we happen to be friends, and you're not applying it. So I'm going to leave behind opportunities for me to waste my energy, waste my effort, waste my intellect and experience and insights on people who don't want to take action on it. I'm leaving that behind. Another thing I'm leaving behind is chasing and comparing myself to other people. Now, when I say chasing, I want you to know that being a prolific keynote speaker is a rarity. There are some people who are in this rarefied space. Y'all know the names, like Eric Thomas is a prolific keynote speaker. Walter Bond is a prolific keynote speaker. Les Brown, everybody knows Les Brown. You might know, Myron Golden and a bunch of other people who are dynamic from the platform. To some degree, I've always looked at those men in particular, those four that I name in particular, and compare myself to them to say, am I at their level? Am I as good as they are? And you know what I'm leaving behind is the comparison game, because I'm the best speaker I've ever heard. That's not an arrogant statement. I want you to think through what I just said. I am the best speaker I've ever heard. I've heard a lot of great speakers, but I'm the best speaker that I've ever heard, because no speaker talks about what I talk about. No speaker has a story that I have about working for Barack Obama. No speaker has a story about what it means to be a C-level executive at a 150-year-old institution dealing with the challenges around race at the executive table, at the board table. Nobody can tell that story. So my story about that is the best story I've ever heard. You know why? Because it's my story. It ain't Walt's, it ain't Les's, it ain't Eric's, it ain't Myron's. So I can't beat him. I'm leaving behind the comparison game, and I'm just going to do me. I'm going to be hip hop, smoothed out on a leadership tip with a corporate feel and a business appeal. That's what it's like when I deliver a keynote. I'm also going to bring all of my experience to bear at the table for people. Now, when I say all of my experience, I've lived a remarkable life. I've been a senior executive in government. I've been a senior executive in corporate. I've been a senior executive in politics. I've done all of the things. And I'm bringing all of that experience to bear for mission-driven executive. I've been the CEO of a nonprofit. So from the nonprofit space, I've been an executive leader at so many different roles. God has allowed me to live a remarkable life. I'm bringing all of those experiences to bear for you, for the mission-driven executive who is tired of playing small and want to have a bigger impact, that's tired of being marginalized and want to overcome the hurdle, that's tired of feeling powerless and locked out, shut out, exhausted, undervalued. I'm bringing all of that to bear for you because I've overcome those things. So that's what I'm carrying forward into 2026. All of my experience to drive value and deliver impact for you. Okay. So I'm going to recap as I close, because this has been a little longer than I wanted to do. Good morning to all of you, Marty, Atanya, Aaron, William. Glad you all are here with me today. So let me summarize the 5 questions that are in the year-end blueprint for mission-driven executives. And if you want these 5 questions written down, if you want some exercises and activities to plan your year, and you want a copy of the mission-driven blueprint, I want to make sure that you can get it by sending me a DM today before 2 p.m. East Coast time and just say, send me the blueprint, Anton. I will make sure that I send it to you. You ain't got to download no, email list. You ain't got to get into my email list. If you ain't on my email list, that's on you. But if you can get it, I'll send it to you directly. So let me summarize the 5 questions that every executive must answer before midnight, before the clock strikes 12 and it is 2026. These are the 5 questions that you need to answer before midnight if you want to define your year with intention that is focused on impact, you got to be intentional today to have impact tomorrow. You cannot compromise your identity or let your identity just float into the new year. You can't go in on autopilot. You got to go in clear-eyed and focus on what next year is going to be like for you. And these 5 questions will help you to do it. Question number 1 is, what will I make non-negotiable in 2026? Question number 2, where did I gain real momentum and where did I let it slip in 2025? Where did I gain momentum and where did I let it slip in 2025? Question number 3 is, what is my one 90-day focus to start next year? What is my one 90-day focus to start the next year? Number 4, who needs to know that I'm showing up differently in 2026, and how will I tell them? Who needs to know I'm showing up differently in 2026, and how will I tell them? And then the last question is, what am I leaving behind in 2025, and what am I carrying forward in 2026? These are 5 questions that every executive needs to answer before midnight if you want to close your year with purpose. So I want to thank y'all for watching today and being on with me. It's a little bit longer than I normally go because I wanted to end the year with a bang. And this is how I want to help you. This is how I want to serve you. This is a difference that I'm going to make for my audience and for the world. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Everybody have a fantastic week. And if you're on LinkedIn, I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. for the first episode of Leadership Live in 2026. You all have a fantastic day and a fantastic start to your new year. Happy New Year. Take care.